Happy Tuesday. I hope your week is off to a great start. Episode 2 of the awesome Optimus Prime build is coming at you right now. Welcome back to Brickscale Studio. My name is Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me today for episode 2 of our Optimus Prime build. If you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you know that I love a good alliteration. So do I dare call this Transformer Tuesday? I'm not there yet, but maybe we'll see that in the future. So in last week's episode, which was the first episode, so if you haven't watched that, go back, get caught up. We build Optimus Prime's head and we test the lighting and the mouth. So the eyes light up and the mouth moves. So we got that done last week, and this week we are moving on to the chest pieces, and we have some more lights. I do have a bit of a fumble in this episode, but I do recover at the end. So let's get into the build, and we'll talk about it after.
Autobots, roll out!
All right, this is to recap. In episode 1, we completed the head, and we tested the electrics, the mouth moves, and the eyes light up. So we're going to be setting this aside, and today we're going to be moving on to the chest. So the first thing that it wants us to do in this section is we have 4 LEDs, and it wants us to test these LEDs before we do anything. So I'm going to do that, and then we will be right back. Okay, so I tested all 4 LEDs. All 4 LEDs work. And the reason why they want you to do that, there's a note in the guide here that says, once the LEDs are assembled in the chest, they will be glued in place. Therefore, it will be difficult to replace a faulty or broken LED if they are tested after assembly. So that's why they want you to test them first. So we did that, and all are working correctly. So now we're going to start assembling the chest. So we need tray number 3. And we need this group of pieces. So let me get those taken off here. Okay, so it's wanting us, the very first thing we're doing is we're taking an LED. We're passing it through the hole. So it is going to sit right in this little channel here. Grab some more parts here before we get too far along. So we need these and these and these. So let me just make sure I've got everything out here to assemble these LEDs. All right, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just sort of assembling this. Those just drop in like that. Let me just double check here. Yeah, it doesn't say to glue these lenses in. So that's just going to sit there like that. And basically, what is going to happen is these are just going to sit on here. This is going to sit here like so, and then we're going to have another piece that goes on the top. And they're going to be glued together. They're not going to be screwed together. Now I've got this one. Let's see how effective we are. So we're going to put the bulb in, right in the little cradle. And then we're going to take the lens. Yeah, this is going to be very fiddly, I can already tell. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take advice from World of Wayne. He actually he put a touch of glue on this LED. I mean, there is sort of a little cradle that it sits in, but it does not snap in. It just sits there, and with the wire, it's just very fiddly. So I think it will be easier to put this over the top than try to flip it over onto the bottom. Okay, so there is one. We're going to do that 3 more times, and I will be right back. Okay, so I got those 4 in. The last step is to just put these little end caps on. So let's do that really quick. And there's a D-shaped pattern, so they only go on one way. And then after I got them all glued together with the lenses and everything, I retested them. They all still worked, so that's good. Okay, next we want to take... So there are 2 of these parts marked 1 and 2. We want number 1. I believe this is number 1. Yes. Oh, it's hard to see on that bigger part. We want to take number 1, and we want to take 2 of our pieces here, and there is a little hole down here. We just want to push these on, push these in, but they're so stiff. Oh, see, and I just busted it. Okay, so I apologize for if you were not unable to see. These were very fiddly. Getting them on those little brackets was very, very difficult, and I actually broke the first one. So I'm on number 2 right now. And we want to take these wires and run them down and out here like so. And then we want to take this. These are going to go on with 2 PWB screws. Okay. And now we want to take one of these. So we want to put a little glue on there. Okay, so now we want to take little magnets. Yeah, the hardest thing is getting them separated. Oh my goodness. Alright, so they're going to go into these 2 slots here. Now, it doesn't say anything about worrying about polarity or anything. So, in fact, it says, glue the magnets as shown. These parts are the same on both sides. So, alright. And now we need... number 2. So I'm just worried about these magnets and this metal, this piece of metal. I don't want them to get attracted to it and have it pull it out. Okay, so that is going in just like so. And that's going in with PWM screws. 4. Okay, now we're taking these 2 pieces here. I'm going to try to keep my fingers off of this. So you can see there is a little tab here. That's going toward the bottom. Like so. Okay, there we go. Now it's not saying that we glue it or anything. Okay, now we need these little windshield wiper pieces. Okay, that clips in very well. So there is a protective backing here, and so this piece we are just going to put in like so. Just want to make sure those wires are sort of secure down in there. Okay, so let's remove the backing on here. Go. Just like so, right in there. And then let me get these off. And then we have some more glass pieces here. Okay, so then this is just going to clip in and looks very nice. So that is one piece of the chest. Now, I will tell you, my other piece, like I said, it broke, so I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get this in here securely, but I will have that fixed by the next episode. So let's move on to the Lego piece.
Autobots, roll out.
Okay, so here we are on the Lego side. So this is what we completed in the last episode. We're working on the chest portion. So today we're going to do steps 18 through 34. Okay, that is the end of step 34. So we worked on this portion here. We got these installed, and then we have this component, which looks like it's going to be going in here somewhere. Possibly like so. But that is it for the Lego portion. All right, let's recap for this episode. So there's the Lego portion. And then we'll bring back the model. So off camera, I was able to fix that one that we had problems with, so we are good to go. So here we can get a kind of a good indication how much bigger the scale model is going to be. So these pieces equate to these pieces here. So we can see how much bigger our scale model is. Also, I did, after I got this all assembled, I did retest these lights and they do work. So we are in good shape. And that is it for episode 2. Okay, so I did recover from my little fumble of breaking that piece. But I was able to get that fixed and we are good to go. One thing I do kind of like, this is sort of like the Titanic build, at least in this episode where we're working on the same area in both the scale model and the Lego version. We're working on the chest area. Now, I know last week we did the head for the scale model, but I don't believe we're going to be seeing Optimus Prime's head again for quite a while, till toward the end where we put the body together and everything. And that will be the last thing we build in the Lego version, aside from, I think, the weapons and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how that all matches up. So let's do our summary really quick. For the scale model, we completed 66 steps and used 42 parts. For the Lego model, we completed 35 steps and used a whopping 102 parts. So total to date, for the scale model, we have completed 108 steps and used 82 parts. And for the LEGO version, we have completed 64 steps and used 187 parts. All right, so we are moving right along. I believe next week for the scale model, we start working on the left shoulder and upper arm. And for the LEGO version, I believe we just keep working on that chest and torso area. So please remember to like, share, comment down below. What do you think of this build so far? It's a little bit different than the DeLorean was and how the Titanic and the Batmobile are. We don't have the issues that we do, and by issues I mean the magazines. We don't have the individual magazines and the little individual part kits. We have an entire parts pack with like 3 trays of parts and a PDF instructions on an iPad that we are working with, and a lot of glue in this model so far, way more than, I mean, I don't even think I used hardly any glue on the DeLorean, and I don't think I've used much on the Batmobile either. It's mostly screws on those models, but for both the Titanic and this Optimus Prime, we've used quite a bit of glue, and I imagine that will continue. So let me know down below what you think about that. Who's your favorite Transformer? Like, I definitely love Optimus Prime, but I also really like Sideswipe. I was mostly into Autobots, but if I had to pick a Decepticon, it would be Soundwave. And I did have a Gen 1 Soundwave and Optimus Prime and Sideswipe and Ratchet and Bumblebee when I was a kid back in the 80s. Also, don't quote me on this, but there is a rumor that we are getting another LEGO Transformer this summer, and it is going to be Soundwave. So I'm super excited about that if it's true. So we'll have to wait and see. But be sure to tune in Thursday for another Titanic episode, and then of course Saturday for our 1966 Batmobile. And until we see each other again, happy building, take care, be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon.